Hi, everyone. Welcome to Goddess of Crypto. I am ridiculously excited for this episode because I have here my pal, Merri Silverstein, who has been, I guess she's been one of the biggest influences for me of women being in the crypto space. And she's been in since the beginning, and I've heard her whole story and I just love it. But Merri, I would love for you to introduce yourself so that people know, just in general, what it is that you do and why you love the space so much.
The sacred divine feminine is creative, abundant, flowing, receiving, and disruptive. And the new energy of money, including cryptocurrency, decentralized finance, NFTs, and even the metaverse, is all these things too. Welcome to the Goddess of Crypto, a weekly show where women who are already in this powerful space will cover these topics simply, so you can relax into knowing that the future of finance is female.
So I have 2 degrees in the sciences, but I do not degree in finance. And as early back as high school, I was buying what you call IPOs. So they were called new issues back then. And so about 2010, I inherited a little tiny bit of money and I started putting some money into the stocks. And I was naturally attracted to the tech stocks, to things that I thought could really grow a lot and be part of our future, part of these cell phones we use, etc. And I did fine. And then I finally opened up to what is Bitcoin. And when I understood it, I was like, wow, this is it. This is incredible. This is something that's going to change the entire world. And as I started to study more coins and ICOs and truly understand
which is an ICO is
initial coin offering, right?
Like
now
an IPO, but for crypto, right?
Okay. And so there's a lot of things similar, by the way, like stocks, like buying stocks or penny stocks, or buying blue chip and buying crypto. And then there's lots of things that are completely different. So an IPO is typically offered through an exchange that you're used to buying, or platform, or your stockbroker. And here it's a little different. You're on your own. Crypto, you're on your own. We're decentralized. Okay, so let me go back to the fact that so when I got into crypto, the one thing I saw was that this isn't just about Bitcoin or Ethereum or the apps they're building on it. This is something that's going to revolutionize every industry in the world, every country in the world, and this is global, as Bitcoin is global. And if you're not 100% understanding what Bitcoin is, I'd like to just give you a quickie, is that Bitcoin has no owner. In other words, when you use every app in your phone, there's a CEO to the company, there's an owner, and there's a server where they're backing up all of the data. Bitcoin has none of those. It's what they call open source. Anyone can come and join people who are developers and work on it. They work through consensus, they agree on things, and then they make changes. And the data is stored inside the crypto, which is cryptography on top of blockchain. Blockchain is software that's not new, and it has its own ability to create a ledger and store all of the data. You cannot have fake Bitcoin. I cannot pass you a fake Bitcoin because it has to run on the Bitcoin protocol, and it won't move if it's not real.
Okay, so yeah, that's a lot of information, but I want to just back up real quick. So Merri's been doing this, as you can tell, for a really long time, and came from the stock world to go into crypto. And while it's not necessary for everybody to be in that position to move into the space that she's been in, I came from a completely different background and zero stocks, and I feel exactly as she does that, Bitcoin and crypto in general are going to change the world, or changing the world. It's why I'm here talking to you guys every week. So I think that that's really important. I want to say that if you haven't watched some of the earlier episodes, that there are some basic information about what blockchain is, what DeFi is, what crypto is, because that's kind of where we started, so that you would feel like you had a basis for conversation. But what I want to say that I think is everything that I say is really about like, how does this affect you, the listener, the viewer, and what are you going to do with it? Like, why do you care? So the reason Merri is here is that I want you to care very much about the fact that as a woman, you're capable of learning an entirely new platform. You're capable of learning an entirely new way of investing or approaching money. And that Merri is here to tell the beautiful fairy tale of, the good news of the princess saving herself. So Merri, I actually want to talk a little bit about that, about your own personal life and your own personal life journey, because I think that that's important for women to hear. There's a lot of women who end up on their own without anything and then can like use crypto as a way to reacquire wealth. So can you talk about that for a minute?
That's a great topic. So I myself have been on those journeys, and I was doing consulting in the medical field and worked with several doctors and building businesses there on my own, and was doing the stock on the side, like I told you, in 2010. And I did very well with that. In other words, it's not how much money you make, it's what you do with it and how you invest it. And you could just take $50 a week here in crypto and just read for half an hour and invest in something and let it sit, mature, or it could flip in a week and you could make a lot of money. So it's worth a little bit of time, I feel, that you can make a lot of money and you will learn as you're going. And you can also always do a practice portfolio, by the way, which is sort of like fake money, and invest in that portfolio and see how you're doing. I recommend people do that with stocks years ago, and you can do it now with crypto. I'm sure there are sites on the internet to do that. You don't have to lose your first $50, but right now is a great time. The numbers are down, and I'm pretty much sure that anything on the top 20, 30 that's pretty solid is going to go up 20%, 50%. It could go up 100%. It could go up more. So we were buying into ICOs, which is, like I said, like an initial coin offering in 2017. And there were things that went up 10 times, 100 times, and 1,000 times. There are things that are still going to go up from then. There are things that I bought in 2018 that today people are like, do you have this coin? You have to get it. Okay, yeah, I bought it back then, but who knew? But what I realized is this is technology. So one of the differences between the stock market is you're actually buying a little piece of the technology. You're buying these coins, which are fractional, any amount you want, to buy an entire Bitcoin. But you're actually—
So hang on a second. Let's talk about the idea of the coin being fractional, just because your explanations are really good, but let's talk about that for a second.
Okay, so today, if Bitcoin is $37,000 or $64,000, which it's been, you do not have to pay that amount of money. You can buy $100 worth. You buy any amount you want of any coin, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You have one, and I have 0.001. It's the same thing. It's the same value. And if I go to sell it tomorrow, that's the price that I can get for it. So it makes it easy for this to be global and all of us to join together all over the world. You don't have to be a billionaire, a millionaire, or even have money in the bank. You just need to be able to have, in fact, you just need to have ID in some of the sites in the United States, and you can go in and they will lend you the money. They will lend you $1,000 like Robinhood does, I guess, still does. And as you buy this crypto and it's in that site and the value goes up, they slowly take that money back and you're done, you don't even know money. So you can literally make $1 million by borrowing the $1,000. There are teenagers that will be happy to tell you their stories. I prefer to tell you as a woman how I got here from the women's side, because most teenage girls are not doing that. Unfortunately, I'm trying to get them there, but we're getting there. So as a woman, you need to believe in yourself. You need to know what you like. Trust your gut, as we usually do, right? Women have the best intuition. And think about things that you like or you understand. Again, it's not the stock market where you could say, I love this clothing company. Can I invest? Or I love these new supermarkets or cars. It's more like techie stuff that we're building a brand new world with. So you may not fully understand it, but it's not hard to find information. or read about it or look at it. So for example, we have what you've heard of besides Bitcoin, Ethereum or Cardano. We have Binance. These are coins on the very top of the market because we go by what the coin, how much money is invested into this coin. Okay, and we're talking in the billions of dollars. Those are sort of what you would relate to the stock market as blue chips. And then we have what I call the sort of a medium price, which might be 2 cents. So we have things for $2,000, $200. And then we have not a lot of coins that are say 2 cents, 1 cent. I call that sort of a medium. And then we have those real micros, which people are always looking for. The next Shiba. Most people have heard of Shiba. Shiba came out and you could buy it for Satoshis, sats, which is 8 decimal places over. So instead of 0.01, which would be 2 decimal places, 8 decimal places. So
I got in at about 6 decimal places, and I think it's at 5 now or 4 now. So yeah, right. I mean, I've definitely made some money off of Shiba Inu, or what's called SHIB. By the way, named after the dog, people. So just so you know, yes.
So that was invented, by the way, as was Doge, as a meme coin. And then what happened was, as people were hearing Bitcoin, crypto.
Hang on. Let's talk about what a meme coin is first, because I haven't explained that or talked about that on the show yet, and I really want people to understand that. So, like, a meme is, one of those graphics that you see that's just created for fun. And I would say that a meme coin is about the equivalent of that. Like, the coin is created for fun, and there is no real, what they call, there's no real purpose behind it. Like, there's no use case for it. So a lot of crypto, and Merri, you'll correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of crypto is created to, like, save the world, like clean water projects, or help girls, or there's a new NFT project that's to help the Wall Street fearless girl. The artist is turning that into an NFT, and so you'll be able to buy a portion of that. There's like all this crazy stuff out there where everybody's like, I want to do something really good. But some coins like SHIB and like Dogecoin were created for fun and for entertainment, but have kind of, like, they've now got use cases, like people are building stuff on them because they got so popular, right? Would you agree with all of that?
Yes and no. So Dogecoin is very old. When I say old, probably built in 2015 or 16. And it was meant to be sort of a joke. It wasn't meant to be the best tech. And it was simplistic. So it was not going to be better than Ethereum, which is, everyone's trying to build the better, faster, smoother, basically limitless transactions per second. And Doge was a joke. I met one of the developers about 4 or 5 years ago, but they were using it out in the West Coast, along with Litecoin, in places to go buy your lunch. But the point of Bitcoin is that it's like money. You can use it and spend it and trade like gold, right? Something that we can use digitally to barter with. So that's basically what it was being used for. And I think it might still be. And all of a sudden, when crypto got really famous again last year, we have big people coming in like Mark Cuban and Elon Musk. And Elon, for some reason, took to Doge. No one was using it. It was sort of this old, boring, not new technology that had no better purpose than anything else we were doing. And he could then adapt it. And that's sort of like what the ICOs were like. So say you and I ran a company in an ICO and we built this crypto coin with this purpose, but for some reason we just didn't make it. We didn't raise enough money. We just weren't successful. We didn't get marketing, and we didn't hook up with the best companies. We're kind of failing. It doesn't mean that coin doesn't exist. And it doesn't mean another company might come along with a lot of money and say, hey, can we take all of your coin? Can we buy you out for pennies on the dollar? Well, I always knew that would happen, and it has happened. And so that's sort of what happened, but for free with Doge. And when Doge became all of a sudden this name that people heard of, they felt that they missed out. Darn, I could have had that for 0.001. Look what it's at. So all of a sudden, someone got the idea, let's make a new Doge. Let's make a new doggy. Let's make the Shiba doggy. It's beautiful. And then people went to look this up and they saw, oh, wow, I could be a millionaire. I can afford 1 million coins for $15. So people started to buy it. And what happens is when everybody likes something, that's the winner. That's the popular coin. So at one point about 4 or 5 months ago, I think.
Yep.
Sheba came out, by the way, I think in the summer of 2020. So I would say towards the end of 2021, Sheba caught on so much that every other person was jumping in, that it blew up, and its market cap, its value went to $35 billion. That day that they announced it, I looked in my phone to see if I'm on my portfolios. I have some Sheba. I don't remember, but I bought some. And I did 11 or 12x times my investment.
Wow.
And I did the Merri technique, which is if it flies up really fast, sell 80%, leave 20%, let it ride. Because I'll probably never be able to buy it that low again.
Okay, so everybody, you just got gold from Merri. If it goes up really high, sell 80%, hang on to 20%. That's really good. No investment advice ever given on the show, but definitely good principle values.
My personal, right. And if it's slow and steady and really solid, I always say, take out about 20% or take out your initial investment so that no matter what, you stay safe. In the case of Sheba, when it blew up like that, I looked at it and had totally forgotten about it. I guess it'd been a year and 3-4 months. The money that I took out, I divided into 4 and reinvested into 4 different things. So that even if only one of them goes up 10 times, I still win, right? So that's sort of how this is, because we're dealing with a lot of, baby startup companies. Although now here in 2022, they're not going to be such babies because such big money's coming in behind them from day one. So I'm still, in 2017, and those are still companies that are blowing up right now. Like you've heard lately about the metaverse. So 2 big points in our space for the metaverse are Decentraland, Mana, and Sand. So Sand was started in 2011. Imagine if you invested in 2015, 16, 17, 18. If you even bought it before 2021, you'd be super, super, super rich. I did buy it 11 months ago. So I got in what I call late at 20 cents.
But still early at 20 cents. Oh my goodness. That's amazing. That's really amazing. I feel like the lesson here for everybody is it isn't ever too late. Like because there's right now anyway, there's always more coins. There's always more stuff that's coming out. The metaverse is just a word that this is probably like the word of the year or something for 2021, because all of a sudden everybody was hearing it. There's been just so much powerful stuff, and we're actually going to have a woman on in a few more episodes who is doing amazing things in the metaverse. But I feel like, I just got introduced to the metaverse physically through the Oculus, and I know I'm late to the party for somebody that's in the space, but not late to the party from the standpoint of everybody else. What are you looking for? Your Oculus?
To show
You're
you,
looking for your Oculus. Yeah. Well, if you find it, grab it. But
it's technology. So when you hear about it and then you don't see it out there and you don't see most of us using it, you don't see it in all the stores, it doesn't mean it's not happening. It means it's being built. And so I got my Oculus a few years ago because a bunch of us in crypto wanted to meet online and play some games. So we were going to do it with the Oculus so that we felt we were all in the same room together. And that was my first experience. And my second was at an event I was at, and someone put it over my head. And I was blown away. So we're not there yet.
The quality of the graphics is incredible, but it's more like
phenomenal.
I thought it was about shooting zombies or whatever, and it can be, but I went to Muir Woods and did yoga with a woman in teaching me yoga in Muir Woods. I went to a house that my cousin had built, his home in the metaverse. And I was able to stand and look around this stunningly beautiful place and think in terms of having a virtual party here with other people who also had Oculuses. And we could see the balloon festival in the distance. And it was this beautiful environment. And then I went and stood, thanks to Google Maps, I went and stood in front of my mother's London building, as if I were on the street in front of her house it was that clear, as if I were really there. I was looking down this way, I could see the garbage cans, and up this way I could see the beautiful like Notting Hill style garden square. And it was all like, it was like I was really there. And all of that inside of like, I don't know, an hour or 2 hours or something in the metaverse. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm totally, utterly hooked. How long do you think it's going to take before we stop having to wear giant helmets on our heads, and it just like becomes like Minority Report, and it's in like a pair of glasses that we could just move around as we wave our hands?
They're being built now. I stock in companies like that, and they have ones for doctors. That's actually stock I own already, that all the information is going by through the glasses. Remember we heard about those Google glasses years ago, that you'd be walking down the street, but yet you could Google things and read it, and it could give you direction, you know, all the things you're looking down at your phone when you're walking down the street that you need to know where you're going or what you're getting. Or so all these things are being built. And yes, the Oculus has not changed in a while. So they will become smaller, lighter, easier. And again, that's VR. And VR was big 3-4 years ago. And then we switched over to the AR. In AR, we can try things on, like a pair of shoes online, and decide if we want to buy them. I can buy this, see this vase, and put it on my desk in virtual, in the reality, and then decide if I want to buy it without any glasses. So we go back and forth between the two different products. One's with the glasses, one without, depending on what the product is. We now have, since we had children learning on Zoom for school, we have AR coming in there. We have it in shopping. They are using VR to train, I believe, police officers, firemen, things where they can take them into the real space without it having to really be real, right? And it's so much better that way. Sort of like a video game mixed with reality of where they used to take them to train them, but they couldn't really take them into the real places. So we could use this for the military. We can use this in great places, but eventually, you know where it all ends up. It ends up in education, in school, and it'll go all the way down to the children, but we can't put them in these big glasses all day and cover them all up. So, and they have their mask. I was just thinking, how are you going to breathe? But
I know.
That's why we will perfect it. That's just another side of technology. So that's what's so great. And how does blockchain fit in? Well, when you go into the metaverse and you want your home is going to be built on the blockchain, and it's probably going to be an NFT, and it's going to be the land of your building, your chair. But we will have this meeting that you and I are having right now, instead of through our computers, in the metaverse.
Right.
And we can look as perfect as we want. Maybe I'll be green and have orange hair, and
I have orange hair now.
And so you know, it's whatever you want yourself to look, and whoever you want to be with, and we could literally meet up. But I think it's down the road, and I think to understand the crypto side is we're still building the foundations, the plumbing.
Yes.
And to me, that's what I like to invest in. When you talk about 1995, the .com bubble, those were websites that now could do something. One sold clothing or one sold cars. They came and they went, but HTTPS was the second protocol in the internet, which is what you and I are on right now. That's how we connect all over the world. And if you notice, the whole world changed once we could all connect. So that was the third revolution.
And now they're doing that whole idea of like Web 3.0. That's like the coming wave.
All these names are just new, you know, names that are for everyone to hear, but it's all been the same plan from day one. And so this is the fourth revolution. Instead of HTTPS, which is the second protocol for the internet, the first one was AOL. Remember the dial-up and little noises?
Yeah.
We're looking to become decentralized. And by doing so, we're going to run on the protocols on the blockchain. Bitcoin is a protocol. Ethereum is a protocol. Cardano is a protocol. And we have some other really fabulous ones, Solana and Avalanche, that are here. And we have many more coming. So those are the things that I like to study and look at. And how good are they? How solid are they? What can they do? And now they've sort of grown up. They're not just building this layer. They're building a layer, and they're building all the things around it. Best example is called Polkadot. So when you look at something like Polkadot Cardano, the first thing you say is, who's behind this? Who's the
now?
team?
Hang on one second. Let me just orient people to this. So Merri's been talking about some some coins, like when she talks about Cardano, that's a coin, but it's also like a platform for developing stuff on. And so is Polkadot. And so when you're on these platforms, you can buy coins that are associated with it, which will then fund the projects that are being built in whatever the thing is. And that may not be true like straight across the board, but it's true of, of some of the things that she's been mentioning.
This is a newer concept, right? It's not that they're platforms, they're protocols or the base layer, and you can only run that coin on that layer, but they're building.
Yeah, so, and that's why I'm calling it a platform. I don't mean it as a technical platform. Right. I mean it literally as a base for. So I'm using an English word, not a technical word, and I should have clarified that. Thank you.
Ethereum is the second known crypto coin, and that was to be better than Bitcoin, because if I sent you Bitcoin and I said, great, you got it. No, I didn't. Well, I sent it to you. No, we didn't have a receipt. We couldn't prove it. So when we built Ethereum, we put in something called a smart contract, and we put it into the Etherscan in the internet, where I can click on my wallet, and in my wallet it shows it went to your wallet, and now I can prove it. So
yeah, the transactions are amazing. I just did that. I just went through that. Like I was in the middle of doing my first IDO. So the initial coin offerings are now called initial DEX offerings, but I was doing my first one, and there was like 12 hoops to jump through. And on hoop number 12, there was some glitch and I didn't get it. And so I wrote to them and I said, hey, where are my tokens? I didn't get it. And they said, send us the proof, send us the transaction. And I was able to go in and send it to them. And then they were able to look at it and go, oh, here's exactly where the glitch happened. Here's where the thing went wrong. Here's why that happened. And so sorry, you're out of luck. So that was kind of funny, but I learned a lot doing it. And I loved that you could track it. And then it was all like every little bit of information, my entire wallet, where it was going, the time that it happened, the date that it happened, all of that. And all of that is happening automatically, being generated by the system itself. All right. So continue, please.
So we have Ethereum, which is the first protocol. And from Ethereum, it was 30 men. And from there, 0 women. And from there, I find it interesting because everything new, I like to look at who a developer is. What's the purpose of the coin? Let me look at the technology. And when I talk about Cardano, and when I talk about Polkadot, both of the men who started those 2 protocols, which you can trade as a coin, are from Ethereum. And I say anyone that comes from Ethereum is super brilliant and has a purpose and knows what they're looking for. Everyone's looking to take what exists and make it better. So the owner, the designer of Cardano, Charles, said, I can do better than Ethereum. And that's what he wants to do. And Gavin Wood, who made Polkadot, said, I can make this open source, and we're going to invent a whole new system and create all the things that I feel are missing from Ethereum. So when Ethereum was around and we started to do these ICOs, they were just random. They're just something you'd hear about, and you had to go to their website and you would just send them some Ethereum and you would just invest, and who knew? And after a while it became that these are scams, are not good, people lost money, and we could obviously make a mistake like you did of where you send it to the wrong place or something happens. Okay. So Polkadot is trying to be one of the platforms solving that problem, where they're going to have these IDOs, and you get Polka starter coins, and you have to whitelist yourself, which is sort of sign up and involve. And it's almost like a lottery, and you may not get picked. And there's also a limit to how much they let you put in. So you can't lose your whole $10,000. There's a limit. And they're only raising a few $100,000 at the most. They're not raising millions. Okay. Right. So when a team is building something and they raise $500,000, that's not really all that much money, but it's enough for them to sit around on computers and build things. But it's not for them to go on a million trips or burn the money or vanishing. So it's much more contained and controlled. So the only point of that is so that we can feel it's a little bit vetted and a little safer. And therefore it's can become more mainstream, because the public doesn't want to get involved in something they're afraid it's a scam. So we're working towards the way of what I'm sure governments would like to see. And when you get regulated, especially by the United States, then you're moving up to the level where we can allow the masses to invest and Wall Street to come in. They have been blocked because no one understood all of this and whether or not it was scam or it was brilliant technology where you could make money. There has been both. We see a lot less of a scam today because I think that there's a lot of vetting. So because Polkadot came up with this, a lot of others can quickly jump into these things and build them also. Binance, the most successful ICO to date, in their first quarter of 2018 did $2 billion, same as Deutsche Bank, okay? They also have created a platform for this. They are an exchange where you can go and buy your coins. There's finances around the world like Coinbase. CZ, the man who invented this, does not want you to get hurt, does not want you to get hacked, does not want anything bad to happen. So he tries to learn about everything new and keep adding that to what he has. He tries to make it as safe as possible to go on a site. He he has his own wallet called a Trust Wallet. It is up there with a MetaMask. It's a very good wallet. And these are hot wallets. Telling you.
And wait, hold on. More vocabulary.
Topic.
Yes. So a hot wallet is something that is connected to the internet, and a cold wallet is something that you can keep in, or cold storage or whatever, is something you can keep. It's like a little stick, and you can keep it in a drawer. And so nobody can steal your coins because they can't get to your wallet, because it's what's called cold storage versus hot storage. So just wanted to clear that up. I want to say one thing about Cardano, because I thought I learned something new about Cardano that I just freaking love. So Cardano's ticker, the coin itself, is called ADA, and everybody always goes ADA, but it's not. It's Ada, because it's from Ada Lovelace, and Ada Lovelace was Henry Lord Byron's daughter. So you're talking about the poet, Lord Byron. She was his daughter, and she actually she worked with, basically they say she's her moniker is now the first computer programmer, because she was working with more sophisticated, I want to call it adding machines, but what I mean was there was a machine in the 1800s that was starting to do calculations, and she wrote the first program to go on this calculation computer. So they literally, the first code was written by this woman, Ada Lovelace, Lord Byron's daughter, and that's what they named Ada, which is the Cardano coin, after. And when I found this out, I went out and bought Cardano. I had bought Cardano, I doubled my money, I moved it somewhere else, and then I was like, oh no, I have to get back into this and just stay, because this is just so freaking awesome. And I love that they were honoring a woman in the, in the space, because I think one of the things, so you were one of the first people that I met in crypto, and I was immediately like, oh my gosh, I have to know this woman. She's so amazing. She's doing such incredible things. And you really are, you have such a comprehensive knowledge, and it goes so deep, so much deeper than we could get into. So I apologize for that, but what you do is just so important. And so please tell people where they can follow you, get information about you. Where can they know about the amazing Merri Silverstein?
Okay, I have a website. It is BLU with no E, angelinvestor.com. I'm on Twitter under BLU, Angel Merri. So check that, Blue Angel Merri. And so I have spoke at conferences. I've been to hundreds of conferences in the back rooms, talking to everyone about projects, about developers, about what we're doing, where we're going, about the space itself and the future. Because to me, there's nothing more important, and this is the most exciting thing. And through there, I learn anything and everything. And just like everyone else, I've made my mistakes and sent something to the wrong address. And that's why I always say it's great to practice things, start out small. If you're going to send $20,000 somewhere, send $10 first or $50 first, test it, make sure it gets there.
Yeah.
And so there's nothing I probably can't teach you about the security side of this, because I'm sure I've done all of this myself. And so has pretty much everyone in this space. And a lot of people were hacked. And by the way, we're saying hot wallets, cold wallets. I also like something in between. For example, you take an old cell phone, you can put this app on there where you're going to use a wallet, and then you take the cell phone and turn it off. It's now not in the internet. and it's in your drawer, or your
I
safe,
love
or your parents'
that.
house. And so I love using those because sometimes these apps are a lot user friendly and a lot easier than a cold wallet. So if you want to work your way to it, and you only have $4,100 total in there, and it's not going to change your life if it was hacked or something, but sometimes it's good. The other advantage, by the way, is that a very huge part of this industry now is collecting large interest, otherwise known as staking. And so if you use an app like Voyager, Celsius, you can put your crypto in there and get as high as 12%. Polkadot, I am getting 12% at the moment. I'm getting 9% on USDC, which is $1 coin, never changes the value. It's a stable coin, a dollar for a dollar. Is your money in the bank getting 9%? So once I found that,
right.
I said, well, even if I have to think about it, I'm just going to send some money over and let's collect 9%. And in 2021, I made more interest than I've ever made in my life in 1 year. So trying to figure out what percentage of tax that is.
Yeah, I love all of that. And I think we're going to talk about staking in other episodes, but I certainly understand how important it is. You may have caught an earlier episode of this show with Carrie Kaplan Norley. We were talking about staking there because that's something that she really does for a living, and she teaches about it as well. We also I bought crypto.com. I bought their coin, which is, I think it's CRO is the ticker for that. And then I immediately staked it. And because I bought it, now this is interesting. So I bought I bought CRO on crypto.com through their app, and staking it was like, do you want to stake this? Yes, I do. Do you want to stake all of it? Yes, I do. Okay, bye. And that was it. I was done. That was how easy they made it, because you're staking on their app.
And that's where I would want people to start if they want to do this. So you can do that right in a trust wallet also. And I think
what would you say a trust wallet is?
A trust wallet was built by Binance, which is a large exchange. And in there, they're swapping, they're staking, and it immediately will hook you directly in DeFi. It will hook you into DeFi itself. As opposed to MetaMask, you have to go sort of into a browser and then connect the two. This connects it for you. So it's a little easier.
If you're listening to this and you're like, oh my gosh, it sounds really interesting, but it sounds complicated and confusing and I'm not sure, you could definitely, I know Merri can hire Merri to help you figure stuff out. And also, you can look up any search term that we're talking about, and they'll give you, there's a lot of information online. The objective of Goddess of Crypto is not to go into the hardcore, step by step to stake, or the hardcore, these are the basic concepts of it. It's just a matter of for example, Merri, again, just gave you gold. Where can you earn 9% on your money? In your bank? No. In the crypto space? Absolutely. And USDT or USDC are the two basic stable coins that are tagged to the US dollar. So as it's basically you're taking dollar for dollar, you're taking your $10,000, and instead of keeping it in the bank where they're oh, you only give us $10,000, we're going to give you 0.0025% interest or nothing, or charge you $25 for keeping your money there every single month or whatever. Now you can go over to the crypto space and you can earn real interest on it. And because it's stable coin, it doesn't fluctuate. It's pegged to the dollar. So if the dollar's worth whatever it's worth, that's how much the money is still worth $1. The crypto is still worth $1. So there are all these different concepts, but what's important for you to get here just always is Merri's doing this, Halle's doing this, Merri's doing this at a completely different level than Halle's doing this, admittedly, but still, when are you going to get started? When are you going to make your choice to go in and make this a part of your investment portfolio? When are you, don't necessarily do what I did. I liquidated my stock portfolio and went all in on crypto because I think it's the future, and I evangelize the future because I totally believe in it. So that's my choice. Maybe your choice is different. It's not, maybe you're just going to do, $50 a week and do what's called the DCA. Is that right? where you're dollar cost averaging. So you're just putting your money in like $50 a week or whatever. And it's not, it doesn't matter whether Bitcoin's at 34,000 or 64,000, you're just sticking your $50 in a week. It doesn't matter what you do. It matters that you make a choice to do something that feels good.
Let me just add something quick. So this is not for the meek of heart. This is not the stock market. It is parallel, but it is extremely volatile. So there are very big highs, and what happens from highs are lows. So we often go in a cycle, and you're going to see it all of a sudden in 1 week, you can 4 times your money. But the answer is no, it's going higher and higher. You must always take profits and try to be careful with the money you put in yourself, so that if you were to lose, you would only lose the profit money, not your original investment. So always be careful, and you have to be able to stomach this. A lot of people are very happy just making 4% interest or 10% a year and feeling safe. A lot of people prefer real estate and find it a safer investment, but yet you saw it crash in 2020 and then blow up again. Crypto, everything has cycles, everything. The stock market, the dollar, everything. Crypto has the biggest cycle there is. This is where you can make insane money and then it can all crash back down. Mm-hmm. Typically, when it's down, like it has been in the beginning right now of this year in 2022, it's back to where it was about 6 months ago. It's not like it's down to zero. So if you came in 6 months ago and it was huge and you didn't take some profits, it's only back to there. You shouldn't really be down unless you buy in the high. So rule 1, buy low,
sell high.
Yeah. However, FOMO, which is not a new term, right, creates this thing where everybody starts buying it when it's big, and we have these memes and we laugh. Bitcoin at 37, which it is right now, and it's down. And then Bitcoin at 64,000. Oh, everybody's in. Try to think of what I'm saying here. Look for the bargain. Look for the thing that's on sale. That's when I go shopping. And we call it, even in the stock market, buy the dip. I was always this person in stocks. If the price was $20 of a stock and I loved it, I put in my order for $19.50. I'm not paying $20. I want a deal. And everything moves. So even if it's split second, it does this, even in crypto. And I will tell you that the simplest, easiest place to do this again is Coinbase has 2 sides, the blue and the black. And you can just slide your money across for free, and you can work in the black. So you can start in the blue, the fees are higher. When you go to the black, you can buy it at market price, or you can put a sell or buy order. And that, therefore, you can get your price and you pay a much, much, much smaller fee. Coinbase is also a place that is legit by the US to leave your crypto if you choose to do so. It is your choice to leave things on an exchange or to hold it yourself in your own wallet. Crypto was invented for you to be your own bank and have your own freedom over your own money, theoretically, or investment. And so the future will be, believe it or not, that crypto will be traded on secondary exchanges with stock, with real estate that is fractionalized, with investments of pieces of art. Everything in the world that we call an investment or a security will eventually all trade together in one place globally. But the United States government needs to fully understand this and fully approve it and make sure that we are safe. So these things take a lot of time. And I've had to study a lot of regulation, the SEC, and how and why they make these decisions, because if you don't fully understand, what's wrong with them? But when you fully understand it, you see the whole process. And to me, that's the most exciting thing. Again, when you go into an IPO or you invest in companies early, they say, are you an accredited investor? Do you have a history of this? Are you worth X amount of dollars? And we have laws to protect you. But the person who only has $50 can't always get in. And this is where it started here in crypto, where I can buy $50 of Bitcoin and either flip it next week for $70 or sit on it for years and watch it multiply thousands of percent, which, by the way, Bitcoin's up over 10,000% in 12 years. So there is no better investment in the past history. Nothing has ever gone up like that, not gold, not stock. And the dollar fiat in any country basically only goes one way.
because it's inflationary. Yep.
Yeah, you can study it in some countries and sometimes it's going to do okay. But in general, if you look at money over 50 years, 100 years, it's only doing this. And in 12 years, Bitcoin's
going down. Yep. And Bitcoin's only gone up.
It's a roller coaster, but
Yeah.
So again, take profits. And here's another rule. Never buy anything you don't understand. If you don't know what it is, don't just buy it. Just because your friend says buy it, buy it, buy it. Stop for 5 minutes. Just Google it. Just go on their website. Put it in your mind. And I like it. I don't know. And so it's interesting because you just gave us a whole history here on why Cardano is ADA. And so I think, people might want to then look a little into that. But there's all these coins that are very interesting and have phenomenal backgrounds and people in them and have a purpose. I want to be better because I want to fix this problem. I want to fix this problem. Some of them is speed. Some of them is how smooth is it. And what happens is the developers, they're the people to look at. When they all were building on Ethereum, they obviously liked it. But then all of a sudden other protocols came along. And one of the keys to know which one to invest in is where are those developers all running? Well, they all like this one. They find it so easy to get on and build these new apps. And they're from all over the world, and they're building these types. And so those are the things you want to understand and look at. This information is not private. Medium has tons of things, but it's also anybody.
Medium.com. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm. And you can look me up. I've written articles that I think are great for beginning women. That's who my articles were for. In fact, it's titled Women Don't Let Men Make All the Money. And it's to come into crypto. And it was how I felt when I first understood Bitcoin. And so I love when women read this, and I could say, even though it's a 5-minute read, break it in half if you want. There's a lot in there in 5 minutes, but just, it was emotionally how I felt. And this isn't, the men come on, they have all these videos and they talk every day and it's all charts and numbers, and there's no emotion though. They don't show any emotion. And us women, we're picky. We want to like it. We want to know what it is, which is good. And we feel a connection. So that's how I am. And anything that is good for every person on this planet is something I support. And if it's great for women, I support it even more. And if it's to invest and for people to make money, especially if they're not the billionaires, then I support it even more. And so that's why I, try to, like you, talk to women, explain things to women, and connect so that once we connect, you'll understand what I'm saying, right? The men don't speak the way we do, and they're not interested, and they have no emotion. In fact, men have said to me, I'll invest. I said, let me tell you about this thing. Not interested. I just want to make money. Don't care what it is. I could never do that. I would never say that. What if it was some horrible thing and it could hurt people, or it's dangerous, or it's not safe? So what I'm saying is, please be careful. This is highly volatile. You can make 1,000 times what you put in, but always take some profits, take some money back, take your time. And yet it's not super complicated if you want to keep it easy. You can just go to Coinbase, go to Voyager, go to crypto.com, which is only an app. You can just buy some. If you're buying a few $1,000s, you're going to put a 2FA on that. You don't have to go cold if you don't want leaving your phone.
Two-factor authentication so that you keep track of it. Yeah.
But not using the text where they're going to text you. That's what a lot of websites do now. They text you a code and you have to just put it in. I mean, using an app that changes little numbers
like Duo. Yeah.
And you need 1 minute to put those. That is something that has not been hacked. That is safe. You might put that on something that's not in the internet. Maybe you keep it on an iPad, but you go to your phone to get in. So if you break it down like that, you will be safer. The last piece of advice I will give you to be safe is that for $5 a month, you can put a VPN on your computer or on your phone or anything that you go into the internet with, where you're dealing with crypto.
And remind me, VPN stands for virtual what? Virtual something network. A VPN is basically just something where it hides, it masks where the signal is coming from. So if somebody's trying to hack into your system, it doesn't give your actual IP address, right? And that keeps you safe as well. Yeah.
If you were a billionaire with $1 billion of crypto, you would also use that so they can't find your location to come and get you, even and force you. But you don't want someone to hack in to your internet in your home. Now, if you are in public, if you're in Starbucks and you're using that internet, you really need to use a VPN. You can very easily get hacked while you're sitting there because it's an open Wi-Fi system, right? So,
and I use NordVPN, NordVPN, and Merri's mentioned a lot of sites as she's been talking. We will make sure that all of those are on the blog. So you can go to goddessofcrypto.me. You'll be able to link to the different sites that she mentioned. We'll make sure that her correct Twitter URL is there, or her correct Twitter handle and her URL are there. So that you'll be able to get in touch with Merri. Merri, we could talk about this for forever, but this is definitely all the time we have today. So I'm so grateful to you for coming on Goddess of Crypto. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you like this show, even if it confused you, or even if you felt like this is like a lot of information, it's okay. You can listen to it again. That's why it's here. But please like the show, subscribe, leave your comments, go to the blog. You can leave comments there as well. There's a transcript of this episode on the blog also. So pick all of that up and like it and share it with people. If you just shared this with one woman, you would be doing that woman a huge favor, because that woman would teach you the way that Merri has taught me a lot of the stuff that I've learned. You know, one of the things that Merri taught me that I love so much is being fearless about doing the investing, because Merri said, like, well, I just did this and then I just tried it. And then so that, like, she taught me that. And if you just share that with one woman and that's what she learns, then they told two friends and they told two friends, and then the whole world knows. So please do that. Like and share Goddess of Crypto. And again, thank you so much for being here, Merri. I really appreciate it.
Every week, transformational wealth coach Halle Eavelyn leads a conversation that helps to ensure that women everywhere can learn to surf the coming tsunami of the new energy of money. You can find her at goddessofcrypto.me. That's goddessofcrypto.me. Be sure to subscribe to Goddess of Crypto on your favorite platform, or watch the show on YouTube. And remember, wealth isn't just your privilege, it's your right.